There's a concept in psychology known as the hedonic treadmill, which basically states that we as humans are very good at adapting. And the reason why this doesn't work is because the new cool thing that you introduce, the perk, the free food, we get used to it. And so for a couple of months, it's cool, and it's interesting, and it's intriguing. And then one day you show up to work, and you're like, free food, whatever. There's a dog. What else you got? What else you doing for me? And so you keep having to think of like new things to do. Right? Oh, we'll massage you at work. Will you get a nap pod? What do you want? Just tell me what you want. You can have anything that you want. And we're building these Pinocchio's islands, which are, quite frankly, a little bit out of control. But if you look at the tenure inside of these companies, it sucks. Right? It's terrible because of this. And one of the other fascinating things that I find is that when I interview these companies and I say, well, why are you doing any of this stuff? And they say, we want to empower our people. And I always say, well, guess what? On day one, your employee is empowered. Right? On day one, they show up empowered. You disempower them through rules and bureaucracy and policies and just outdated workplace practices and a hierarchy. You strip them of any power that they have. And then, after they're beaten down, you tell me you want to empower them again? By giving them yoga? Right? It doesn't make any sense. So how about instead of disempowering our people, we keep them up here in this level? Right? Why don't we keep them empowered to begin with, instead of trying to figure out how to empower them after we've already beaten them down? So this is how most companies around the world view employee engagement programs, and it doesn't work. Right? It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. It's not scalable. It's not practical. So what is it that some of the world's leading organizations have figured out? So if this kind of approach doesn't work, then what does work? There's a psychologist by the name of Thomas Gilovich. I actually had him on a podcast that I did last year. And he did some really cool research where he looked at how is our satisfaction level impacted depending on if we invest in a physical good or if we invest in an experience. Right? So imagine you buy an iPhone versus go skydiving. Something like that. And so what he found is that if you invest in a physical good, what starts to happen over time is your satisfaction goes down. Over time, the satisfaction goes down. But guess what happens if you invest in an experience over time? Your satisfaction goes up. So when we look at the world's leading organizations, that's what they've figured out. How do we make it feel like when employees start working here, they didn't just buy something, they invested in an experience.